What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we continue the Gauntlet Series for the Baseus Inspire XH1 headphones. We had a great episode 1. I hope that we can go ahead and continue. We should have some more great episodes throughout this one. If you go ahead and hit the like button for me at the beginning right here, helps the channel out. And I guess that's it for that part. All right, so their opponent in this episode will be the Sony ULT WEAR headphones. Now, it's been a minute since I had these guys in a gauntlet, and it was one of the ones I immediately thought of once I picked up the XH1s. I just definitely wanted to see them go up against the ULT WEARs and see how they handle. All right, so as always, if you want to see price, specs, and app breakdowns for either of these headphones, I'll leave links in the description below to my unboxing videos for both. I'll also leave links where you can pick up one or both of these if you are interested. This should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get in. So without further ado, let's do it. All right, we are back in. We're going to start off with the XH1s. We are in the Baseus app. We have noise canceling turned on. And real quick, also, I want to show you guys that I have, I'm going to get to my page here, that I do have LDAC turned on for them, as you can see here. All right. Let's go back in. Now we got noise reduction turned on. We have it set to maximum, level 5. All right, and we're going to go with my EQ settings here because I cannot turn on Adobe Audio and have the EQ playing, so we will go with this one here. All right, and we got my custom EQ. You going to allow me to show it? Oh, there we go. All right. Hey, it got kind of messed up here. Let me go ahead and... All right, that's close enough. All right, that's as close as I can get it. All right, so... Again, that's my EQ settings. See, it changed it again. Anyway, those are my EQ settings for these ones. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and... I don't know why I did that. Let's go ahead and get into our music. We got Dominique Feels on Me, Feeling Good, already queued up. So let's go ahead. We're going to open this out, fan it out a bit. There we go. Excuse me. We're going to pop on the XH1s. Let's get our cutaways. You can see me. All right, let's get our pop-up. There we go. All right, we are locked in. Let's go ahead and check our volume level. All right, we are at my preferred listening level right now, and we will make adjustments if needed. All right, so here we go. Song number 1. Let's get it. All right, I like the vocals. I like the clarity of it, but I'm going to have to turn them up just a couple notches. All right, there we go. Now they sound as they should, in my opinion. Nice clarity. The background vocalist, good spacing, decent, I guess your standard sound stage, but I love the way they filled in, balanced, but clear. Again, getting the nuance, her breathing rhythm, her enunciation of words. Getting that exhale at the end of the verse. Again, the vocalist, background vocalist coming in, balanced, but good spacing. Nice and clear. I love the harmonizing. I love it. All right. Again, nice and clear. I absolutely love how these guys sound. I had to turn it up like I think two notches. As far that way I can get the sound I would expect at 65%. So I'm probably about close to 70% volume when it comes to these guys, where they sound acceptable to me. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the ULT WEARs and see how they handle song number 1. All right, we are back in. We are in the sound control app for Sony. We got the ULT WEARs paired up. We are running LDAC on these. I just wanted to show you guys that LDAC is turned on the ULT WEARs as well in that phone. So let's go back into the app real quick. We're gonna go into my device settings, go down here into my EQ settings. Now this has always been my EQ settings for these. I use that Find My EQ feature inside the app. excuse me, this came out with the best overall sounding EQ for me. I do have the bass control set to Alt 1 and clear bass max completely out on this one. That's because that's what I wanted. All right, so I know there's going to be some complaints that they have more features than the XH1s, and that's a fair assessment, but it is what it is. All right, so what we're going to do now, and just because the settings are there doesn't mean the tuning's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get these guys on. All right, we got the Alt WEARs on. Feeling good. Let's go ahead and cut to me so you can see me with these on. Let's get our cutaway in. All right, so let's go ahead and get our music queued up. All right, just one quick test. So we can go ahead and catch our volume. All right, we are at our preferred listening level, right at the orange line. All right, here we go. Actually, we want to make sure that we have our noise canceling turned on. Where's my button? Okay, I was hitting the wrong. All right, noise canceling has been activated. I did not activate it in the app, and I had to find my button there. All right, so here we go. Song number 1, Alt WEARs. Let's get it. All right, right off the bat. Now I have to worry about the volume. Nice and loud. Vocalists sound nice and clear. Okay, sound stage sounds a little tighter in comparison to the XH1s, but the background vocalists still got good spacing and they're clear. Again, the enunciation of the words, the B's, the P's, the T's, popping, her breathing rhythm, inhale at the beginning, exhale at the last word of the verse. Got that slight echoing as well. Yeah, that's so clean. Again, I like the clarity, and I love this part, the harmonizing. Sounds so clean. All right, man, this is sounding really, really good. This is developing up to be another really good battle. All right, so let's go ahead and get into song number 2. All right, we are back in for our second song, our bass song, Pony by Waranoy. Let's get ready. Let's get it popping. Let's get our camera flip, our cutaway. All right, we golden. Okay, here we go. We got the XH1s on. Let's get it. Song number 2. Let's back this up. All right, here we go. Again, nice volume. Again, I had to turn it up 2 notches, so keep that in mind. But the vocalist sounds nice and clear, and that piano in the background sounds very crisp. Okay, that low-end rumble, got that. Again, it's got that good rumble to it. I like how clean it is. I wish it had a little bit more oomph, but I like how clean it is. All right, let's turn it up. All right, there we go. Again, I don't go to 100% because I don't need to. Oh, I like how it hits in that rumble. Again, vocalist still sounds nice and clear. No distortion. That piano in the background is still ever present, too. All right, let's turn this down. All right. All right, again, I like how clear the vocalist and the piano is with the mids and highs. Very clean, very crispy, very clear. That bass at my preferred listening level was there. Wish it had a little bit more presence, but then when you went up to the higher volume levels, it showed up, especially with that bass knock before the low end rumble. It was great. It was really, really good. Again, I just wish I didn't have to go up there to get that result. All right. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Alt WEARs. All right, quick test. Make sure we are going through the same headphones here. All right. Okay, here we go. ULT WEAR, song number 2, bass song. Let's get it. Oh no. Let's try this again. Well, apparently we are having technical difficulties here. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. It's going back to... Yeah, it's going back over to my to the XH1. So for some reason they are not coming over. So we're going to go ahead and do this. All right, here we go. Okay, now we're good. I had to go ahead and turn off the XH1s, so we got it right. All right, here we go. Once again, song number 2, ULT WEARs. Let's get it. Again, don't have to worry about the volume at all. Don't. Vocalist sounds nice and clean. The piano in there, like how that sounds as well. Woo! Oh, that bass is rumbling. Let me take that alt. Turn off the ULT WEAR. All right, I got alt turned off, and that bass is still thundering. Oh my goodness, that was insane. All right, but again, the vocalists are nice and clear, little warmer sounding than the XH1s, but still clear. Okay, now let's turn up a little bit. Ooh-wee. That bass is sinister, but again, the vocalist is not distorted. Let's turn this back down. All right, they turn it back down. Pause it. All right, but again, even at the higher volume level, the bass still had good punch and was clean, no distortion. The vocalist, like I mentioned before, still nice, still bright. Again, lean just a tad bit warmer sounding than the XH1s, but no distortion, no artifacts or anything like that that I could hear when it came to these ones. And that bass, again, I turned off ULT WEAR. Let me show you, or the alt option there. I'm gonna show you. Let's go into my settings here. See, I have alt turned off. All right, let's flip the camera real quick so you guys can see up close and personal. See, I turned alt off because, man, at one it was pounding. It was absolutely cranking, and it sounded good. It was clean and everything like that. But man, it was crazy sounding. All right, so. Let's go ahead and get into song number 3. Boy, I tell you. All right, we are back in for our final song. We got Avrats by Infected Mushroom. We got the XH1s in. This is going to be our instrumental song here. Let's get our cutaway, or switch the cameras. Here I am. Let's get our cutaway. All right, here we go. Song number 3, XH1s. Let's get it. All right, right off the bat, I like the crispness of that keyboard. Got that nice little bass nugget there in the beginning, right here. And the echoing, sound like you're traveling down a hallway. That's what it sounds like. Okay. Again, that echoing, I love it. And it sounds really clear. That keyboard sounds very clear. All right, now we got the rattling instruments in the right ear, moving around, not staying stationary. All right, we got our low end, our bass instrument coming in, giving that nice little bass drop. We got the clanging instrument in the left ear rather, and that one's moving around just like the rattling instrument. So you got a lot going on And I love how the separation is where you can focus on one individual instrument if you want to. And I love the clarity. Now, one thing, I just wish the low end instrument had a little bit more presence, but I like it's smooth sounding though. And we got the wave sound coming in as well. They added that as well into it. Really good. All right, let me pause that. That went out a little longer, but man, that sound good. It sound really good. Minus my caveat about the bass, but other than that, the mids and highs did a fantastic job in this song, and I like the spacing of the instruments as well. So let's go ahead and take off the XH1s. We're gonna pop on the ULT WEARs. And they're not playing, again, they're not playing well with that. So they got to be the only ones connected. So let's do our test again. All right, we're there. All right, so here we go. Song number 3 with the Sony ULT WEARs. Let's get it. Again, don't have to worry about the volume. Nice and clear. Oh, that little bass nugget there, like rippled through my right ear. Again, I like how clear the piano sounds. Leans a little warmer. Again, a little bit leaner, a little bit more to the warmer side by a little bit, but it's still clear. Doesn't sound muffled. Now we got the rattling instruments in the right ear, or in the right ear. Moving around, doing his thing. Woo! Oh my God, that bass just sets it off. Okay, man, that's crazy. Let's go in here. Let's scale back. Okay. We're going to scale back the clear bass to 5. Because, man, that is sinister. Again, I have the alt bass turned off. And we got the clanging instrument on the left ear. Again, you can still focus on either one of them instruments. And even with the bass having the presence it doesn't take away from the keyboard, doesn't take away from the wave sound. It doesn't take away from the other instruments as well. So I love the way it's overall sounding, even though it seems to lean a little bit to the warmer side of things. But man, I had to turn that down a little bit. That bass was just impressive. All right. Woo-wee. Well, let me go ahead and get these off. This has been a great head-to-head episode 2. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get this cleaned up. We're going to talk about these 2 briefly with the 3 songs. And then we'll pick our winner, episode number 2. Stay strapped in. All right, we are back in. And man, this has been yet another fun episode here in the Gauntlet Series, where we've got the series for the Baseus Inspire XH1 headphones. And their opponent in this episode is the Sony ULT WEAR headphones. It's been a while since these guys have been in a head-to-head competition, and what a better way to bring them out than to have them bring them out again than have them go up against the Baseus just to see how these guys measure up. So let's go ahead and talk about that. First song is the "Feeling Good" by Dominique Fails Ami. Again, vocalists, both of them did a really good job with the vocals, the mids and highs. I think the X1H is a little bit more, has a more clearer vocals, clearer mids and highs. That the ULT WEARs lean more to the warmer side. Does not sound muffled at all when it comes to the lyrics and everything. But when comparing these 2 together, you could tell that the XH1s has a clearer sound when it comes to the mids and highs overall. And I also think that the XH1s are the louder when it comes to overall volume. They are the louder of the 2. However, again, like I said, the ULT WEARs lean a little bit warm, not muffling with the mids and highs, still clear with the vocalist lead and background, They had good spacing despite having a slighter, tighter sound stage than the XH1s, in my opinion, again. But they really sound nice and clear despite all that in the alt wears. But yeah, you can definitely hear the difference when the mids and highs between the two. All right, moving on over to our bass song, Pony by Waranoy. This is where the alt wears kind of took over, in my opinion, because again, this is a bass test, and man, these things pack bass. I had to turn off the alt service, the alt system on there to cut that down. At even the bass was even crazier there. I mean, it still remained crazy. It was nice, thumping, powerful, not distorted, even that turned up at the higher volume levels. It was so clean and so powerful with the alt wears. The bass on the XH1s was decent. I wish it had a little bit more presence, but when you turned it up to a higher volume level, it did show up on these. The low end definitely showed up. The bass drops did arrive at the higher volume levels for them. And they both did a really good job with the mids and highs when it came to the vocalist as well as the piano. Again, that leaned more towards the Baseus XH1s because they sound a little clearer, a little cooler. So you got a nice little crisp sound with the piano, a crisper sound with the piano. You still got a nice crisp one with the alt wears, but the vocalist and piano sound better on the XH1s. But man, the bass, forget about it. The alt wears totally own that portion when it comes to overall sound. Moving on up to our third song, Avrats by Infected Mushroom. Again, both of them sound nice and crisp with the piano, the rattling instruments, the clanging instruments in the left and right ears, moving around, showing off that sound stage. They both did a real good job there. Then you fold into the bass, and you get the low end, the bass instrument. Again, really showed up for the alt wears, made a presence with the, in comparison, made a presence with the XH1s. Still gave you that nice little bit of that nice clean bass, but not as prominent as on the XH1s, or excuse me, on the alt wears. I even turned down, in this song, I turned down the clear bass, and you could tell the difference when I turned that down, but man, that bass was still clean, still powerful with the alt wears in that one as well. But again, you still with the mids and highs were clean, were crisp. I like the vocalists on that one. I'm sorry, not the I'm got ahead of myself there. With the not the vocalist, but the bass in the bass song, the bass instrument. I don't know if it was a guitar or whatever, but it really had prominence there. I got my songs mixed up there. I apologize, but it got that bass. I mean, it just took over, but you didn't lose the clanging instruments and everything like that. You didn't lose the piano or the keyboard. You didn't lose the wave sound in there, but that bass was definitely present. So again, I'm sorry. I apologize for getting my songs mixed up. It's kind of late. We pushing 12:30 a.m. Doing this video. So if I had to pick which one to win, because I liked something out of both of these. I like the mids and highs on the XH1s in comparison, and I like the bass on the alt wears in comparison. So if I had those two, that would have been the most wonderfulest pair of excuse me, sub $200 earbuds that you can get. But anyway, if I had to, my winner on this one, I'm gonna have to go with the alt wears. Reason being is, yes, they got the bass. Of course, they reign supreme when it came to the bass and everything. But I think these were closer to the total package that I like. Clean bass, clear mids and highs. I think I get closer here with the alt wears than I do with the XH1s, in my opinion. I know I love the mids and highs on these. These guys are very crisp with the mids and highs, vocals, instruments. These guys sound really good, but when in comparison to the ULT WEARs, that the bass doesn't have the presence, in my opinion, when in comparison to the ULT WEARs, when you comparing these two, okay, because a lot of people out there think that I'm saying this and then it's across the board. No, when you comparing this pair of headphones to this pair of headphones, this is what I get. All right, so again, I really do like the sound overall of the XH1s, but I think I'm closer to the total package with the ULT WEARs. So they will be my winner in this one. And that will wrap up episode 2 of the Gauntlet series for the Baseus Inspire XH1 headphones. If you like what you see, go and hit the like button. If you want to join me as I continue to do this Gauntlet series, we have 2 more episodes left. Plus, I got other unboxings and Gauntlet series to get through. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell. That way you're notified when videos like this and others drop. We're closing in on 10,000 subscribers, which means there will be a live stream to celebrate that. So you definitely want to be subscribed to that so you'll be notified when that happens, when that kicks off, and you guys can pull up and celebrate with me, because without you, there is no me, there is no 10,000 subscribers. So you definitely, when we get to that point, so we're at 9,500 right now, 9,500 plus that is, and I wouldn't even be here without you guys. So again, many thanks. I'm very humbled, but you want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So when we do that celebration, you guys are celebrating with me, as you should be, because this is about you. This is for you guys as well. And like I said, I got other things coming up too. They're coming up to the end of the year, so you know what that means. Top 10, top 5 videos will start trickling out at the end of December. So I gotta get all this stuff done so I can start focusing on those videos. So we got a lot to cover. The Status Pro X's are going to be here this weekend, so look for that unboxing video the following week. So it's going to be a lot, man. I still got the Nothing Ear 3s. I still got to do them too. So I got a lot going on, so you definitely want to make sure you're here. All right, so I'm not going to hold you up any longer. I appreciate you pulling up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.